Good morning. Mark Reed here from Lawdit Solicitors. Another instalment of our quickfire podcasts between Ellis and I to discuss things that are really relevant right now, interesting. It could be something that's going on in the news, or it could be something simply that is being discussed, we notice, in different industries and certainly in meetings that we've had in the office, that we think that is worthwhile, just 5-10 minutes, making people think even more. So good morning, Ellis.
Good morning.
Now, this one has come from you and one of our work experience students that essentially had a bit of a chinwag, shall we say, regarding digital assets and the application of, certainly the inheritance element to what that means. Now, that was a bit of waffle that I just said there, so let's just go. Inheritance is what?
So, inheritance is what you need to think about in terms of your assets that are going to be passed on when you pass away. So people consider inheritance in terms of what they may receive and also how they want their assets to be transferred on when they are no longer with us.
Okay, so standard principles are we sit down with having meetings with clients and we essentially say, what assets have you got? And what is it they always say?
Oh, well, I've got a house, I've got a car. They think about physical assets.
So we're taking the notes, we do our will questionnaire, they're getting themselves ready so that they're, sort of thinking about the future and trying to protect those assets for their family. But there is one thing which we've already identified that doesn't seem to sort of come up in the conversation, and that's digital assets. Mm-hmm. Now, I even said to you before we press play on this, I'll be very interested to know how you're going to explain that in quick, simple terms without waffling like I do. So what is a digital asset?
So it's those sort of things that you hold, you have ownership of. It links very neatly with intellectual property, which you will be aware of from previous podcasts, but it's those things that you own, you hold, you have control of that aren't physical, that exist online.
Okay. Again, I think we need to be even clearer. So you still have ownership over them. They're still protected from an ownership point of view. But at the same time, the ownership it's a digital ownership. So where is it sat? Where's the physical, asset that's there?
So if you think about sort of your social media platforms, your email addresses, if you've got any sort of cryptocurrency, NFTs, those sorts of things, they're held online through a login, through an account. They're stored with a third party, and ultimately you still own those. It's your social media, it's your email address. Access to those and control over those isn't quite as easy to pass on as it may be sort of for a house, for example. Social media and email addresses, accounts that hold your cryptocurrency, they all require login details and they're all governed by sort of terms and conditions. So thinking about those, there was a social media sort of trend that went round a little while ago about who's going to tell the world through your Facebook that you've passed away, who's going to have control of that. Ensuring that those aspects of your assets are also covered is very important.
It's crazy because it is so relevant, and yet it's something that everyone just forgets about when they sit and have a meeting about their will and what needs to be contained. I've just read something here that says around 93% of those assets of those that have a will, so 93% of people that have a will, they have not included any of their digital assets in their will. I mean, honestly, just to pause there and think, 93%. I don't know where the sources come from for that. We can find that out and put that up there afterwards. But, I mean, wow. I mean, that I'm going to just hold my hands up. I haven't put anything to do with my digital assets on there, and I've got all of the things above that you've just mentioned there. So that's, more for me I mean, okay, I might have something written down somewhere to say, look, if you need to get this, you need to do that. You know, it's in the safe, blah, blah, blah. But just focusing on some of the digital records and cryptocurrencies and all of that ownership, the royalty element of things. I mean, I still don't understand why containing it in a will and where it's going and what needs to be done is going to make life easier for someone. Perhaps you could give us more of an indication as to what that would entail if you're having a meeting with someone to talk about just digital assets.
Well, I mean, it very much depends on the type of digital assets that you have, and each platform that they're held will have their own terms and conditions as to third-party access, etc. Ultimately, it's important to think about the fact that these assets, your email address, your social media, hold a lot of data about you and currently represent you online. So people ensuring that the control of that is passed to the right person for them is important. One, to make sure that that data can't be misused by someone, and two, to make sure it's not lost. You could have very important things in your emails that no one can then get hold of.
So therefore, having it listed through then means, and I suppose you would just have an addendum to it or something to be able to say, I mean, it's not even a codicil, it's just like a letter of wishes, here's this, here's that, and here's the details for it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, value is crucial. Now going back to being far more specific, if cryptocurrency, I think it was around about 2018, that the HMRC pointed at crypto and said, well, look, this is it is considered as property, and therefore if it's got value to it, it needs to be included when you're having to go through all of your probate applications, IHT forms, and that's inheritance tax, by the way, IHT forms, and go through it to give it a value, because it could be subject to inheritance tax.
Yeah, it's sort of, in terms of proper digital assets, NFTs, cryptocurrency, those should be dealt with like a physical piece of property in terms of value and the estate value.
I think even just moving on from the will, and when someone's saying to you, hello, I'd like to make a will, and they start to go through certain things with you, and you make sure it's listed, if you know that these different assets, these digital assets, obviously hold a value. Not all of them, but some of them hold a value. You need to be doing your estate planning and speaking to specialists such as ourselves and some of our colleagues that support us with estate planning and tax. Obviously, we're not tax specialists, but there's so many things that you need to consider to ensure that you're fully protecting your asset, that you're also ensuring that everything's organised as best as it can be for the people that you're leaving behind after you've passed away.
Yeah.
So it's a crucial thing, digital assets. Who'd have thought it, eh?
Yeah, well, the world that we live in now, everything's online. That's the way that sort of wealth and building of assets is going, in terms of it's not just I've got a house and that's where all my estate value is now. So it's important that people think about these things and make sure that they are leaving as straightforward of a situation for those that they've appointed as their executors or going to be their administrators.
Okay. All right, well, look, that was really useful. If anyone wants any more information on the digital asset aspect, that was a mouthful, and certainly when you're considering estate planning or you're wanting us to write a will, just give us a call, send an email, anything you like. It's all on the website, okay? So just let us know, but it's info@lawdit.co.uk, or there's different numbers on there as well for you to reach out to us, because I think it's important. I'm going to go away and amend my will now to include all of that, which is really poor. So thank you very much, Ellis. I'm grateful to that, and I think we're going to get this article, if it's not already been done while we're making this podcast, we're going to get the article that was drafted tidied up and make sure that it's on the website for review as well. Okay, so thanks very much. Thank you, Ellis.
No problem.
Take care.
Bye-bye.